Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing this hot July the 24th, 2025, noontime sunny. Cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, gold in summertime, blue skies, silver bullion update. Bell notification, comment down below, like the channel and share to get that truth, trust, education, and information from the source and the industry and the channel that's created for the retail trader. As we're all on our mission and you're joining and following along and participating, most importantly, on our way to be asset millionaires via gold and silver bullion and mining stocks, 401k study investing, cryptocurrencies, real estate, and cash, most importantly, on the side for emergencies, accumulating new or adding to existing investments. And that cash should be in short term CDs or bonds earning 3 to 5%, right? And if we look at the Bitcoin price, we'll get right on into it. We'll go into the Bitcoin price itself, but we want to see if there's any news because there was something that caught my eye. Bitcoin miners aim to raise $850 million, blah, 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 blah. There was something else that was important. Build on Bitcoin, Bitcoin breakdown, Belgium, the US is a Bitcoin whale. Akeem clarifies BTC holding after brief panic. Let's see. According to Arcam Intelligence, the US government still holds more than 198,000 Bitcoin. That's around 23.4 billion sitting in a digital wallet across several agencies. A recent report spreadsheet showed 28,988 Bitcoin under the Marshal Service, but looking at FBI, IRS, DEA, and Justice Department seizures makes the total jump far higher. Government staff spread across agencies based on reports from the Marshal Service, 28,000 and change, roughly 3.45 billion, has been under its control since July 15, 2025. Other agencies don't share the data publicly. They manage coins from crime probes and prize auctions. Akeem gathered on-chain data and linked addresses tied to each agency. When added, the total hits at least 198,000 plus Bitcoin. No, this Freedom of Information Act. In everyday terms, that means US is a massive Bitcoin whale that still owns over close to 200,000 Bitcoin. The rest is spread out in hidden pockets. The US government currently holds a huge chunk, over 114,000 came from the 2016 Bitfinex hacks case against Iha Lintenstein. Sounds like a Jew. No offense to the Jews, but it's got the Stein. It's usually a Jewish guy or woman. And Heather Morgan, that Hall alone counts for more than 13.65 billion. So this is very interesting. So in theory, the country like the United States that is in severe debt and has a major sovereign debt crisis where the interest on the debt alone is unpayable, let alone the principal, and it gets worse each day. Could they, and they're sitting on a massive profit of over $20 billion in profit. Does the government, does the United States start to realize some of those profits and have a and it's all profit because they seized the Bitcoin, right? And that would cause a brief Bitcoin sell. But currently, so that's something that we're going to pay attention to in the future. But currently, right now, we're in this rising channel. We're now on day number, if we look at this, we're on day number 13, and we need to get to 18 is about when this track says to go. So say we get to day 18, that brings us out to the 29th of the month, and it brings us to the 29th of the month, but it also brings us, if we look at this, not that, hold on, my good friends. I believe it's this, not that either. I'll have to work on that. I'm not sure what I was doing. Ah, there we go. It's the distance. That's what we're looking for right here. Okay. Excuse me. Excuse me, sir. So if we take this from here to here, the point of a breakout, that's 112 px. I don't know what that stands for, but I've started to see things start. So if we bring that to the point of a breakout, 112, right? That gets you up here on your first breakout. I've started to see, and I've been studying, and now I feel confident enough to bring this to you, that when you see these coil up like this, whether it's a short time frame, or we can go even out to a very long time frame. Let's see if we can find something in the Bitcoin price where we had a consolidation. Let's look at this. Where do we have a consolidation? You can see we had a consolidation on the bottom right here, right? Let's look at this. Even though it's in the monthly time frame, you can see from wick to green body candle where it started to pump up here, that is 104 pixels. Go to the point of the breakout and go up 104. Yeah, look at that. That shows you where that next move is going to go. That it gives you when you're consolidating from left to right, it gives you a measuring tool to flip that vertically to see potential move to the upside. So I've been starting to see that, notice that, and it's been very helpful in short term and medium term. But on the breakout, if this does break out, and that was on an 18-day consolidation, and that's what we've been watching for since we had this last pump, and it seems to be following that blue track beautifully. Well, we're going to follow that and try to push our way, which the next leg would be near that $155,000 target. If it breaks to the downside, your first initial underneath support would be obviously the 50-day, and then your major support is the 100-day, but more specifically, just below that, the rising channel support that you can see we've been in ever since that mountain double top bear market here from after COVID in 21 through late mid 2022 and then late 2022 into 2023 into the first half. We bottomed out and had a technical breakdown. And then from there, we formed this rising channel and we've been in this up and sideways formation ever since. Obviously, your major underneath bullish or bearish short to medium term support is in orange. They're at 97,264. 23, right? If we go look at the Bitcoin dominance, you can see we did have a spike in Bitcoin dominance, something that you would think you would have. Consequently, you can see we've had consolidation to the downside, even though today we've had a rally up. But at one point, from swing high to swing low, it went down 10%, right? So it was a big swing very, very quickly, all in a matter of about 48 hours. If we go back in to the daily time frame, and this is something that we talked about, you would retest, and that's bullish consolidation, and you would expect a return rally to some extent. And now the question is, can you breach and get out of this rising channel? And the upper resistance at current day is 39.59 and 39 cents. And your major support level short term is 34.78 and 57, the top part of this green trading zone. And this is what you're going to watch for Ethereum. To continue this bull market and up, you want to break out of this rising channel, hold it as support, and continue up, right? Or option B is you continue to trade within this rising channel. You come up and hit it, trade back down to the green, maybe trade back down lower, and eventually come on lower support again, right? And then have another rally. So these are things in the short term that we're going to watch. Your major breakout of the pattern would be 39.59. Your major underneath support to continue this current uh, bull market and pump is 34.78, and your major underneath support is the green trading zone at 3,046. If we look at XLM, it had a big consolidation, but it was a consolidation that we talked about up near the top when we had what looked like a double topping reversal pattern in the short term, that it could come down to 43 cents and it's still bullish. It got just below it. Now it's pumped and is sitting just sneakily above, just ever so slightly above this 43.5 cents. And if you can stay above that 43 cents, you can stay short-term bullish. If you can't stay above this 43 cents, you will come down to this 36 cents and you'll test the medium-term bullish or bearish. If you break that 36 on any kind of retest and you can't hold it, now you're medium-term bearish and short-term bearish again, right? And then obviously you got your moving averages below the price there. And if we take a look at these moving averages, we'll update them because they are trending up very fast because the price has appreciated over a very short period of time, very, very quickly. So obviously the shorter term moving averages will move quicker. It's not going to let me do it right now. And the longer term ones will take a few days, have a lag, right? So what you're looking at right now is to stay bullish, you want to stay above this 43 and then attack this 56. Short term bearish is if you can't stay above this 43 and you start using it as resistance. And then if you hold the 36 as support, trade along, but then eventually get below this 36 back into this green trading box. Now you're short and medium term bearish, right? And that would be something that would raise red flags. The same thing with XRP. You've got heavily rejected off the 376, just below its all-time high from 2016 at 385. And this is the same thing. You want to hold this 304, which you bounced off it nicely. Now, in any kind of correction below it, your major short term, if you're above 304, you're still short term bullish. If you get below 304, you're looking at coming back to the 50-day and more than likely the major horizontal support and resistance, which is just below the 50-day and just above the 100-day at 257. And that is your major pattern, bullish or bearish. If you get back below 257, this pattern has been invalidated, right? And now we're looking bearish again. But right now, you're trying to hold the 304 so you can reattack the 376 to the upside. Because do I still think there's a chance that we could come down and hit that $1.29? Yes. Could this just have been instead of a head and shoulders pattern, which it was, but it didn't break down to the pattern whole? Could this be an even bigger bearish pattern, a mountain double top over a year, a macro time frame? And if that's the case, that would still get you down to the technical target. And if this would let me just delete that, because your neckline is still the 209 neckline support. And then you would go from the mountain double top to the neckline or to the bottom of the pattern, right? And that would actually get you all the way back to our super accumulation zone. Something that we talked about. Could happen, but we thought it would do this first, and then we would come up like this. That was our pattern. If you watch a few months ago for our end of the year pattern to get a 3x return from the $1.29 to the 370 to the $4 and then come down. So we got a lot of things to watch out for. We could still eventually come back down and maybe have this bear market, but there's a lot of things that are going on. We're going to continue to pay attention to all of this and keep you, my lovely audience, informed. Remember, hold, accumulate when appropriate, profit taking when necessary. Peace and love to my beautiful audience.